Jake stood in the station's main meeting room, facing both HFY and Vexara. Captain Barnes had finally agreed to let them meet together, but security guards surrounded the room. "You called this meeting," Barnes said to Jake. "What do you want to say?" Jake looked at both aliens. Through his connection with Vexara, he could feel her tension. She was still in light restraints, but she was alert and ready. HFY floated calmly, but Jake had learned to read the crystal beings. Lights. The dim blue glow meant distrust. "I want to talk about the truth," Jake said. "All of it?" HFY's lights flickered. "What truth?" "The truth about why you're both really here. The truth about what you really want." Jake turned to Vexara first. "Your people aren't just looking for a new home. You're running from something. Something that's been chasing you across space." Vexara's eyes narrowed, but she didn't deny it. Jake faced HFY. "And your people aren't just peaceful explorers. You're looking for allies because something is coming. Something that scares. Even you." The crystal being's lights dimmed further. "You speak of things you do not understand. Then help me understand, both of you." Captain Barnes leaned forward. "Jake, what are you talking about?" "They're both afraid of the same thing. I can feel it through the connection. Something is coming to this part of space. Something dangerous. Enough to make ancient crystal beings look for young allies, and to make proud warriors run for their lives." Vexara spoke first. "The Devourers," she said quietly. "They consumed our world. They consumed everything." HFY's lights pulsed rapidly. "You should not speak of them." "Why not?" Jake asked. "Because talking about them makes them real. Because talking about them draws their attention," HFY said. "We have hidden from them for centuries by staying quiet, staying small." Jake felt understanding flow through him. "But you can't hide forever. They're getting closer." "Yes," HFY admitted. "Our watchers have seen their ships. They will reach this sector within years, not centuries." Captain Barnes stood up. "What exactly are these Devourers?" Vexara answered. "Machines. Ancient machines that eat worlds, eat species, eat everything. They take knowledge, take life, take hope. They leave nothing but empty space." "And you both came here looking for help," Jake said. "Crystal beings seek many allies," HFY said. "Many young species to fight while we preserve ourselves." "Pack seeks strong allies too," Vexara said. "But Pack fights beside allies, not behind them." Jake saw the difference. HFY wanted to use other species as shields. Vexara's people wanted to fight together as equals. "What if there was a third option?" Jake asked. "There is no third option," HFY said. "Only survival or extinction. That's where you're wrong. Humans specialize in third options." Jake moved to the center of the room. "HFY, your people have survived by being careful, by avoiding risks. But you're also isolated. You don't really understand how to work with other species." The crystal being's lights flashed with offense, but Jake continued. "Vexara, your people are brave and loyal, but you've been hurt so many times that you don't trust anyone. You assume everyone will betray you." "Both true," Vexara admitted. "But what if you didn't have to choose between hiding and fighting alone? What if there was a way to combine crystal technology with pack loyalty, guided by human diplomacy?" "Impossible," HFY said. "Is it?" "HFY, you have the technology to travel between stars quickly." "Vexara, your people are natural warriors and protectors. Humans are good at bringing different groups together." Jake felt excitement building in his chest. Instead of fighting the Devourers with one species at a time, what if we built an alliance? A real alliance where everyone contributes what they do best? Captain Barnes was nodding slowly. "A federation of species working together." "Exactly. HFY provides technology. Vexara's people provide protection and combat expertise. Humans provide coordination and diplomacy to hold it all together. Vexara leaned forward. Pack would fight beside crystal beings? If crystal beings would fight beside Pack, Jake said. SciFi was quiet for a long moment. Finally, the alien spoke. This has never been tried, because no one has ever had someone who could understand both sides, Jake said. Someone who could bridge the gap between crystal logic and Pack loyalty. You mean yourself, SciFi said. I mean the connection. Exara gave me something I didn't ask for, but maybe it's something we all need. A way to truly understand each other. Through his bond with Vexara, Jake felt her hope and fear mixing together. She wanted to believe, but she had been disappointed. Too many times. If Pack trusts crystal beings, and they betray us ... double quotes, she started. Then humans will stand with the Pack, Jake said firmly. That's what the connection means. We're bound together now. Your fate is our fate. Vexara's eyes widened. In her culture, such a promise was sacred. SciFi's lights pulsed faster. And if we share our technology and others use it against us, then the Pack will protect you. Jake said, that's what they do. They protect their allies unto death. The room was quiet for several minutes. Jake could feel Vexara's emotions through the connection, surprise, hope, and something that might have been gratitude. Finally, SciFi spoke. This alliance, how would it work? We start small, Jake said. Here on this station. We learn to work together. We combine our knowledge and abilities. When the Devourers come, we'll be ready. And if it fails? Jake looked at both aliens. Then we'll fail together. But at least we'll fail fighting, not hiding or running alone. Vexara stood up, her restraints clanking. Pack accepts alliance, but Jake Martinez must lead. I cannot lead anyone, Jake protested. Connection makes you Pack leader, Vexara said. Crystal beings trust you. Pack trusts you. Humans trust you. Only you can hold alliance together. SciFi's lights brightened. The human boy would coordinate between species? This human boy, Jake said, is about to become something new. Not fully human, not fully beastman, not crystal being. Something in between. Something that can understand all sides. Captain Barnes smiled, the first interspecies diplomat. 3 months later, Jake stood on the observation deck of the newly expanded Frontier's Edge station. The space around them was filled with ships, crystal vessels that looked like floating jewelry, Pack ships that were rough but powerful, human ships that were practical and reliable. The alliance was working, but it wasn't easy. Crystal beings and Pack members still distrusted each other. Humans sometimes felt overwhelmed by their alien partners' different ways of thinking, but slowly they were learning. Crystal technology was making human and Pack ships faster and stronger. Pack warriors were teaching humans and crystals how to fight as teams. Human diplomats were helping everyone communicate and solve problems together. Jake had chosen to keep the connection with Vexara. It made him different from other humans, but it also made him uniquely qualified to lead the alliance. Any regrets? Kira asked, joining him at the window. Jake felt Vexara's presence in his mind. She was on her ship, training human soldiers in Pack combat techniques. Through the connection, he could feel her satisfaction and pride. No regrets. He said, this is what I was meant to do. Even though she bit you without asking? Jake laughed. Especially because she bit me. Sometimes the best things happen when we don't have a choice. In the distance, space itself seemed to shimmer. Long-range sensors had detected the first Devourer scouts at the edge of the galaxy. They would arrive in less than 2 years. But when they came, they would find something they had never encountered before. Not isolated species fighting alone, but a true alliance. Crystal wisdom, pack loyalty, and human adaptability working together. Jake touched his shoulder where Vixara had bitten him. The mark was still there, a reminder of how their alliance had begun, with misunderstanding, fear, and pain, but also with trust, hope, and the willingness to become something new. The Devourers would come expecting to find scattered, primitive species. Instead, they would find something unprecedented in galactic history. They would find unity. And Jake Martinez, the human who had been bitten by a Beastwoman for talking to another alien, would be right in the middle of it all, holding 3 species. Together through the greatest test any of them had ever faced, the alliance was ready. The real fight was about to begin. Jake woke up in the medical bay 3 days later. Everything was different. The lights seemed too bright. He could hear conversations from across the station. The smell of cleaning chemicals made his nose burn. Dr. Amy Foster sat beside his bed, watching her medical scanners. When she saw him wake up, she looked worried. "How do you feel?" she asked. Jake sat up slowly. His body felt strange, like it belonged to someone else. Different. Everything is too loud, too bright, too strong. Your senses have been enhanced. Your muscle density has increased by 30%. Your reaction time is 3 times faster than normal. Jake looked at his hands. They looked the same, but felt stronger. When he made a fist, he could feel power he had never had before. "What else?" Dr. Foster hesitated. "There's something else, some kind of mental connection. When we monitor your brain, we pick up signals that match the Beastwoman's brain patterns." As if she had heard her name, Jake suddenly felt Vexara's presence in his mind. Not her thoughts, but her emotions. Anger, sadness, and something else. Loneliness. "I can feel her," Jake whispered. "We know. Captain Barnes wants to talk to you. When you're ready." Jake nodded and got out of bed. His legs felt strong, too strong. He had to be careful, not to walk too fast, or he might break something. Captain Barnes was waiting in her office with Kira and Sci-Fi. The crystal alien's lights were dimmer than usual. "Jake, thank God you're okay," Barnes said. "How are you feeling?" "Like I'm not completely human anymore." Sci-Fi floated closer. "The beast creature has contaminated you with her primitive genetics, but we can help." "Help how?" "We have technology that can purify your DNA. We can remove the beast elements and restore your humanity." Jake felt something angry stir in his mind. It wasn't his anger. It was Vexara's. What would happen to the connection between us? "It would be broken," Sci-Fi said. "You would be free of her influence." Kira stepped forward. "Jake, that thing attacked you. She changed you without your permission. You don't owe her anything." Through the connection, Jake felt Vexara's pain at those words. He was starting to understand that the bite hadn't been just an attack. In her culture, it was something more complex. "I want to talk to her first." "Absolutely not," Barnes said. "She's dangerous. She's in restraints. I'll have guards with me. But I need to understand what she did and why." Captain Barnes didn't like it, but she agreed. 30 minutes later, Jake walked into the cargo bay where Vixara was being held. She was chained to the wall with metal restraints, but she didn't look defeated. When she saw Jake, her yellow eyes lit up. "You came," she said. "I had to. I can feel you in my head, and I can feel you." "It is done." Jake sat down across from her, just out of reach. "Explain it to me." "What did you do?" Vexara was quiet for a moment. Then she began to speak. "On my world, we had a ceremony. When pack member was lost or alone, pack leader could bring them home. The bite shares blood, shares soul. Vex lost one part of pack forever. But I wasn't lost. You were." Her voice was sad. You were choosing crystal beings over pack. In my mind, you were leaving us behind. Bite was only way to make sure you stayed. Jake felt her emotions through the connection. Fear, desperation, hope. She hadn't bitten him from anger. She had bitten him from fear of being abandoned. My people are dying, she continued. War destroyed our world. We have been traveling for years, looking for new home. Every species we meet promises help, then turns away when they find stronger. Allies, we weren't turning away. Crystal beings offered you stars. What did pack offer? Nothing but problems. Old pattern repeats. Jake was beginning to understand. Vexara's people weren't conquerors. They were refugees. They had been betrayed before and were afraid it would happen again. The connection works both ways, doesn't it? You can feel what I feel. Yes, then you know I never wanted to abandon your people. Vexara's eyes widened. Through the bond, she could feel Jake's honesty, his confusion, his desire to help everyone. Double quotes, you. You truly wanted to help Pack? Yes, I just didn't know how. For the first time since he had met her, Vexara looked uncertain. Pack leader made. Mistake? We both made mistakes. They sat in silence for a while, sharing emotions through the strange connection. Jake could feel Vexara's guilt and shame. She could feel his forgiveness and understanding. Crystal beings want to remove connection, she said finally. I know. Will you let them? Jake thought about it. The connection was strange and unwanted. But through it, he was learning things about Vexara's people that no human had ever known. I don't know yet. Over the next few days, Jake learned more about both species. Sci-Fi showed him crystal cities that floated in space, powered by starlight. They had lived in peace for thousands of years, growing slowly and carefully. But Jake also learned they were not as peaceful as they seemed. Through the connection with Vexara, he discovered that Sci-Fi's people had destroyed other species. In the past, species they considered primitive or dangerous. Crystal beings came to our world once, Vexara told him during one of their conversations. Before the war, they offered to help us become civilized. When we refused to change our ways, they left. Later, our enemies had crystal weapons. You think they gave weapons to your enemies? I know they did. Crystal beings do not fight wars themselves. They find others to fight for them. Jake felt sick. The beautiful, peaceful aliens might not be what they seemed. He also learned more about Vexara's people. They were not the savage beasts Sci-Fi claimed. They had art, music, poetry. They loved their families and would die to protect each other. We are not perfect, Vexara admitted. We are warriors. We fight when we must. But we do not fight for pleasure. We fight to protect Pack. What do your people really want? Home, safety, place to raise young and grow old. Same thing all species want. Jake realized that both species had lied to him, or at least hidden important truths. Sci-Fi wanted to use humans as allies against other species. Vexara's people wanted humans to help them fight their enemies. But through the connection, Jake also sensed something else. Both species were afraid. Sci-Fi feared that younger, stronger species would eventually challenge them. Vexara's people feared that they would die alone in space, forgotten and homeless. There has to be another way, Jake said. What way? I don't know yet. But there has to be something better than choosing sides. The changes in Jake's body were stabilizing. He was stronger and faster than any human, but he was still human in his mind and heart. The connection with Vexara was becoming clearer. He could sense her emotions, her thoughts, even her memories, and she could sense his. You are different from other humans, she said one day. How? Other humans see only their own tribe. You see all tribes, crystal beings, Pack, humans. You want to help everyone. Is that bad? It is dangerous. But maybe it is also good. Jake was beginning to form an idea. A crazy, impossible idea that might just work. But first, he had to convince both species to trust him. And he had to decide whether to keep the connection that had changed him forever, or let SciFi remove it and return him to normal humanity. The choice would determine not just his fate, but the fate of 3 species trying to find their place in a dangerous galaxy. That evening, Jake worked alone in his lab. The crystal samples from SciFi glowed softly on his desk. He was running tests to understand how they worked. The technology was beyond anything humans had ever seen. The lab was quiet except for the hum of machines. Jake liked working at night when the station was peaceful. He could think better without distractions. He didn't hear the door open behind him. "You work late," said a deep voice. Jake spun around in his chair. Vexara stood in the doorway. She filled the entire frame with her huge body. Her yellow eyes reflected the light from the crystals. "Vexara, you scared me." Jake's heart was beating fast. "What are you doing here?" "I came to talk." She stepped into the lab and closed the door behind her. The sound of the lock clicking made Jake nervous. "About what?" Vexara walked slowly around the lab, looking at everything. Her claws clicked on the metal floor. "About choices." "What kind of choices?" She stopped at his desk and picked up one of the crystal samples. In her large hand, it looked small and fragile. "Pretty," she said, "like crystal being. SciFi's people are very advanced. Their technology could help everyone." "Everyone?" Vexara crushed the crystal in her fist. It broke into tiny pieces that fell to the floor. "Or just humans and crystal?" "Beings?" Jake stood up quickly. "You can't break those. They're important for research." Vexara stepped closer to him. "Important to who?" "To everyone. To science. To understanding. To leaving." Her voice was getting lower, more dangerous. "To flying away to new worlds with crystal friends." Jake realized she had heard his conversation with the captain and doctor. "Vexara, it's not like that." "No?" She was very close now. Jake could smell her wild scent, could see the anger in her glowing eyes. "Then tell me, what place does Pack have in your future with crystal beings?" Jake opened his mouth, but no words came out. He hadn't thought about it. All his excitement had been about human expansion, human exploration. He hadn't considered what would happen to Vexara's people. "You have no answer," she said, "because there is no place for Pack in your crystal dreams. We could find you a world, a good world where your people could live." Vexara laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "You would put Pack on some empty planet like animals in a cage, while you fly between stars with crystal beings. That's not what I meant." "It is exactly what you meant." She grabbed his shirt and lifted him off the ground. Jake's feet dangled in the air. "Pack is useful only until you find better friends." "Put me down." "On my world, there was a Pack like us. They trusted the wrong species. Those aliens promised them safety, promised them food. But when the war came, the aliens ran away. The Pack died alone. Jake could barely breathe. Her grip was too strong. We're not like that. All species are like that. All species choose strength over loyalty. Crystal beings are strong. Pack is just desperate refugees." She carried him across the lab like he weighed nothing. Jake tried to pull her hands away from his shirt, but her grip was like metal. "Vexara, please. Let's talk about this. Time for talking is over." She slammed him against the wall. The impact knocked the air from his lungs. "Pack has rules, simple rules. Abandon Pack, Pack abandons you. Betray Pack, Pack destroys betrayer. I didn't betray anyone." You chose crystal beings over Pack. You made plans with them. You showed excitement for their gifts. With Pack, you show only fear. Jake tried to understand her anger. In her mind, he had picked sides. He had chosen Zephyr's people as allies and left her people out. It doesn't have to be one or the other, he said. Humans can be friends with both species. Humans maybe, but not you. Her eyes were blazing now. You have already chosen. She opened her mouth. Jake saw her long fangs, sharp as knives. Fear shot through his body like electricity. In Pack law, betrayers must be punished. They must be marked so all can see their shame. I'm not a betrayer. You will understand, she said. After marking, you will know what it means to belong to Pack. To be loyal only to Pack. She moved faster than Jake could react. Her head came down and her teeth sank deep into his shoulder. The pain was incredible, like fire running through his veins. He screamed. Vexara's bite was not just teeth. Something flowed from her fangs into his body. Something that burned and changed everything it touched. Jake could feel it spreading through his blood like poison. The lab door exploded open. Kira Thorne burst in with 3 security guards. They had weapons drawn. Let him go, Kira shouted. Vexara released Jake's shoulder, but kept hold of his shirt. Blood ran down his arm. Her mouth was red with it. Too late, she said. Marking is done. He belongs to Pack now. Like hell he does. Kira fired her stun weapon. The electric charge hit Vexara in the chest. She dropped Jake and staggered backward. But she didn't fall. Instead, she smiled, showing bloody teeth. Human weapons are weak, like humans. The other guards fired too. 3 stun blasts hit Vexara at once. This time she went down, but she was still conscious, still smiling. Jake collapsed against the wall, holding his bleeding shoulder. The burning sensation was getting worse. He could feel his heart racing, could feel something changing inside his body. Get him to medical, Kira ordered. 2 guards lifted Jake and carried him toward the door dot. As they left, Vexara called out to him. You will understand soon, Jake Martinez. Pack does not abandon. Pack does not betray. Pack protects what belongs to Pack. The guards carried Jake through the halls of the station. Other crew members stopped to stare at the blood, at his pale face. Word spread quickly. The alien negotiations had gone wrong. In the medical bay, Dr. Amy Foster worked frantically to stop the bleeding and analyze what Vexara had injected into Jake's system. His DNA is changing, she said, looking at her scanner with wide eyes. Something in her saliva is rewriting his genetic code. Jake tried to speak, but his throat felt strange. His senses were getting sharper. He could smell things he had never smelled before. He could hear conversations from other parts of the station. What's happening to me? He whispered. I don't know, Dr. Foster said, but we're going to find out. In the cargo bay, Vexara sat in restraints, surrounded by guards. But she wasn't struggling. She was waiting. Waiting for the changes to take hold in Jake's body. Waiting for him to understand what it really meant to belong to a pack. The bite had been more than punishment. It had been an invitation. An invitation Jake couldn't refuse, whether he wanted to or not. Captain Barnes stood in the control room, talking urgently with Zephyrhai over the communication system. The Beastwoman attacked our diplomat, she said. This changes everything. Zephyrhai's musical voice was cold. We warned you these creatures were dangerous. They cannot be trusted. Perhaps it is better that you learn this now. What do you suggest? Remove them from your station. Send them away. We will help you deal with what their leader has done to your man. Barnes looked at the medical reports. Jake's condition was getting worse, or maybe it was getting better. It was hard to tell. The changes in his body were unlike anything they had seen. Can you reverse what she did to him? Perhaps, but it will require him to choose. Crystal Way or Beast Way? Light or darkness? Civilization or savagery? Barnes didn't like the sound of that. It seemed too simple, too black and white. But with Jake's life hanging in the balance, she was running out of options. In the medical bay, Jake was fighting changes he didn't understand. His body was becoming something new, something caught between human and beast. And deep in his mind, he could feel Vexara's presence, like a wild animal pacing in a cage. The real test was just beginning. Jake sat across from HFY in the station's meeting room. The crystal alien's body gave off a soft blue light that made the room feel calm. Jake had his tablet ready to take notes. "Tell me about your people," Jake said. HFY's lights pulsed. "Slowly, we are old. Very old. Our bodies are made of living crystal that holds energy from our sun. We do not eat food like you. We drink light." Jake wrote quickly. "Amazing. How long do you live? Time is different for us. What you call 1,000 years is like 1 year for us." Jake's eyes went wide. "You're immortal?" "Not immortal, but long-lived. We have seen many young species grow up. Some become wise. Others destroy themselves. What about humans? What do you think of us?" HFY's lights grew brighter. "Humans are interesting. You are young, but you build beautiful things. Your station shows creativity. Your music pleases us." "Music?" "Yes, your radio signals, your communications. To us, they sound like songs. We followed the music to find you." Jake smiled. "We'd love to share more of our culture with you." "And we with you," HFY said. "We have technology that could help humans travel between stars faster. We have knowledge of planets where you could build new homes." Jake's heart raced. This was exactly what humanity needed. "What would you want in return?" "Friendship, trade, your music and art, your fresh way of seeing the universe." After an hour, Jake walked HFY back to the docking bay. The crystal alien moved like it was dancing, floating just above the floor. Other crew members stopped to watch and wonder. "I will return tomorrow," HFY said. "We have much to discuss." Jake watched the beautiful alien return to its ship. This was going better than he had hoped. Then he remembered his next meeting. Vexara and her pack were waiting in the cargo bay. It was a bigger space, and Jake thought they might feel less trapped there. He was wrong. When the door opened, Jake saw that the beast people had marked the walls with their scent. They had moved the cargo boxes to create a circle, like a den. Vexara sat in the center, and her pack sat around her. "You come," Vexara said. It wasn't a question. Jake walked into the circle. Immediately, 5 pairs of yellow eyes fixed on him. He could hear them breathing, smell their wild scent. His hands started to shake. "Sit," Vexara commanded. Jake sat on the floor across from her. She was even bigger up close. Her muscles moved under her fur-covered skin. Her claws, he noticed, were out just a little bit. "You talked to Crystal being first," she said. "Yes, I talked to both of you equally." "No." Vexara's voice was hard. "You smiled at Crystal being. You wrote down its words. You were excited. With Pac, you are afraid." Jake tried to stay calm. "I'm just nervous." "You're very impressive." One of her pack members, a male with black fur, laughed. It sounded like a cough mixed with a growl. "Tell me about your pack," Jake said. Vexara's eyes narrowed. "Why? So you can tell crystal beings our secrets?" "No, I want to understand you." "Understand?" She leaned forward. "You smell of fear. Your heart beats fast. Your hands shake. You do not want to understand. You want to survive. Jake took a deep breath. You're right. I am afraid, but I still want to learn. This seemed to surprise her. Her head tilted to one side again. We are Kefir. We come from dying world. War destroyed our home. We search for new place to build pack. I'm sorry about your world. Sorry? She stood up fast. The other pack members tensed. Sorry is weak. Word. We do not want sorry. We want action. Jake stood up too, even though she was much taller. What kind of action? Land, territory, place to hunt and raise young. Crystal beings have these things. You humans have these things. We have nothing. We could help you find a new home. Vexara walked around Jake in a slow circle. He forced himself to stand still. Help, she said. Another weak word. Pack does not take help. Pack takes what pack needs. That's not how humans work. Then humans are weak. Jake felt anger rising in his chest. We're not weak. We're just different. Vexara stopped in front of him. She was so close he could feel her breath on his face. Prove it. How? Fight me. The room went silent. Jake could hear his own heartbeat. I can't fight you. You're twice my size and much stronger. Then you are weak. I'm smart enough to know when I can't win. Vexara stared at him for a long moment, and she laughed. It was a deep, rough sound. Maybe you are not completely weak, she said. The next few days followed the same pattern. Jake spent mornings with HFY, learning about crystal technology and energy science. The alien showed him how they could make human ships travel 10 times faster. They shared maps of safe planets where humans could build colonies. Afternoons were harder. Vexara tested Jake in different ways. She made him watch her pack hunt holographic prey. She showed him their fighting techniques. She told him stories of battles on their home world. Your crystal friend promises you stars, she said one day. What does pack offer? I don't know. What do you offer? Strength, protection, loyalty unto death. Crystal beings will leave you when you are no longer useful. Pack never abandons pack. Jake was starting to understand both species better. HFY offered knowledge and beauty, but seemed distant, almost cold. Vexara's people were warm-blooded and passionate, but also dangerous. On the fourth day, everything changed. Jake was in his lab working on crystal samples HFY had given him. The technology was incredible. With these crystals, humans could build ships that moved almost as fast as light. Dr. Amy Foster came to see the work. This is amazing, Jake. This changes everything. Captain Barnes joined them. How fast could we travel? To the nearest star system in weeks instead of years, Jake said. We could explore the whole galaxy. They talked excitedly about the possibilities. New worlds to explore, resources to find, places for humans to grow and spread across the stars. None of them noticed the figure watching from the hallway. Vexara had been looking for Jake. Her enhanced hearing had picked up their conversation. She heard them talking about traveling to new worlds, about spreading across space. She heard excitement in their voices that they never had when talking about her people. In her mind, it was clear. The humans had chosen the crystal beings over the pack. They were planning to leave with their new alien friends. They would abandon Vexara and her people, just like everyone else had. Her yellow eyes began to glow with anger. Her claws extended. Fully. A low growl started in her throat. Jake Martinez had no idea that his excited conversation about alien technology had just signed his death warrant. Jake Martinez pressed his face against the cold window of the space station. Stars filled the dark space around them. Below, a green and blue planet spun slowly. He had been on the Frontier's Edge station for 6 months now. Every day brought something new to study. 2 ships coming in, said Captain Lisa Barnes over the radio. Both alien, both unknown species. Jake's heart beat faster. New aliens meant new discoveries. He grabbed his tablet and ran to the docking bay. Other crew members were already there, watching the big screens. The first ship looked like it was made of glass and light. It moved without sound, glowing with soft blue colors. The second ship was darker, made of metal and stone. It looked rough and dangerous. Black smoke came from its engines. Beautiful, whispered Dr. Amy Foster, the station doctor. She was looking at the glass ship. Scary, said Security Chief Kira Thorne. She was watching the dark ship. Her hand stayed near her weapon. Jake studied both ships on his tablet. The glass ship sent signals that sounded like music. The dark ship sent deep, loud sounds that felt like growling. Two very different species were about to meet humans for the first time. Jake, you're our alien expert, said Captain Barnes. You'll talk to both groups. Find out what they want. Both at the same time? Jake asked. Yes, we treat all species equally. That's the rule. Kira stepped closer to Jake. Be careful. That dark ship looks like trouble. The glass ship docked. First, the airlock opened with a soft sound like wind chimes. What came out made everyone step back in wonder. The alien was tall and thin, like a person made of crystal and light. It had no real face, just colors that moved under clear skin. When it moved, it looked like it was floating. Small lights danced around its body. I am HFY, it said. Its voice sounded like singing. We come in peace to meet the humans. Jake stepped forward. Welcome. I'm Jake Martinez. We're happy to meet you. HFY's lights grew brighter. You speak with kindness. This is good. Then the second ship docked. The sound was loud and harsh. Metal hit metal. The airlock opened with a bang that made everyone jump. What came out was very different from HFY. She was huge, almost 7 feet tall. Her body looked human but stronger, with muscles that showed even through her clothes. Her skin was covered in short, golden fur. Her face was like a mix of human and big cat. Yellow eyes looked at everyone with sharp attention. When she opened her mouth, Jake saw long, sharp teeth. Behind her came 5 more like her. All were big and strong. All had the same cat-like features. All moved like hunters ready to fight. I am Vexara, the big female said. Her voice was deep and rough. We claimed this place for our pack. The room went quiet. Kira's hand moved too. Her weapon. The other humans stepped back. Jake took a deep breath. Welcome, Vexara. This is a human station. We're here to meet new friends. Vexara's yellow eyes fixed on Jake. She walked closer. Each step was silent but powerful. Jake could smell something wild about her, like forests and hunting. You are small, she said, looking down at Jake. Weak. How do you lead? I don't lead, Jake said. I just want to learn about you and your people. This seemed to confuse Vexara. Her head turned to one side like a cat trying to understand something. HFY floated closer. The human speaks truth. They seek knowledge, not power. Vexara spun around fast. Her eyes locked onto HFY. A low sound came from her throat, like a growl. Crystal being thinks it knows humans better than pack leader? I mean, no challenge, HFY said softly. Only peace. Peace is for the weak, Vexara said. Her pack moved behind her, ready to fight. Jake quickly stepped between them. Stop. This is a place for talking, not fighting. Both aliens looked. At him, HFY's lights pulsed calmly. Vexara's eyes narrowed. You stand between predator and prey? Vexara asked. Interesting. Captain Barnes spoke over the radio. Jake, bring them to the meeting room. Separate meetings. 1 hour each, Jake nodded. "Sci-Fi, would you like to see our station first?" "Yes," the crystal being said. "Your people create beauty in the darkness of space." Jake turned to Vexara. "After I talk with Sci-Fi, I'd like to learn about your pack." Vexara stared at him for a long moment. "You will learn," she said, "one way or another." As the group split up, Jake felt eyes watching him. He looked back to see Vexara still staring. Her yellow eyes seemed to glow in the station lights. Something about the way she looked at him made his skin feel cold. Kira walked up beside him. "I don't like this, Jake. That Catwoman looks at you like you're food." "She's just trying to understand us," Jake said. "Like we're trying to understand them." "Maybe," Kira said. "But keep your distance. I've seen that look before. It's the look a hunter gives prey before the kill." Jake led Sci-Fi toward the meeting room. Behind them, he could hear Vexara talking to her pack in their own language. It sounded like a mix of words and growls. Sometimes one of them would laugh, and it sounded like a big cat purring. The first contact was not going as smoothly as Jake had hoped. Two very different species, two very different ways of seeing the world. And somehow he was caught in the middle dot as they walked through the station halls. Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this meeting would change everything. He just hoped he would survive to see what came next.